Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted. What the fuck, man?
Which part of the dress code do you understand? So I'm like not getting my girlfriend's Snapchats. Are you working on something?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 45 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
I am occasionally Brooks.
I am always Dan.
I'm in danger! Ah!
What's up, Danger?
It's never not funny.
To you, maybe!
And to Dan, and
To me, yeah, I find it quite amusing.
Why is my pain funny?
many, many reasons.
This poor boy.
So, I have no idea what's been going on in the news this week because I was kind of out of it for a couple
there
of
wasn't
days.
a lot like really exciting going on this week. I mean, even outside of like dork stuff like we're into,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of cool toys.
We just watched some of Tested's highlights of the toys from San Diego Comic-Con. A lot of good standouts. I can't wait for the new NECA TMNT figures. Those are gonna be really good.
And I can't wait for all this sweet, cool X-Men stuff that I will someday own.
Bethesda made everyone super pissed again.
Oh yeah!
A few times.
That's a big
What did
surprise.
they do this time,
They
Tyler?
somehow managed to fuck up Doom, right?
Somehow they managed to put Doom on a console and make everybody mad. Only Bethesda.
Like I can put Doom on a thermostat now.
I will say I think that the community is overreacting. Because
You don't say.
Wait. Overreacting. What?
I bought Doom 1, 2, and 3 when they came out. That was a great surprise announcement out of QuakeCon, and they just dropped that day on Switch, which is fucking rad. So I bought, Doom 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 were like $5 a piece, and 3 is 10. But I was surprised to see that they implemented a Bethesda.net login into each of them. And I'm like, oh, whatever, just fucking the thing. I think I have one. I don't know. I'll try and sign up. Yeah, it failed. Okay, I must have one. What's the thing? Okay, I think it's this. Okay, it's good. And then once I entered it into one, it was entered into all three. And that was the end of that.
I think it's every time that there's a internet connection required for an old school or just a single player game like that, though, you're gonna piss people off. They couldn't.
So interestingly, with Doom 3, you can actually just hit B and get rid of it and then play the game anyway. But with Doom 1 and 2, you can't.
They're fixing it, though. Doom 1 and 2, they're going to make it an optional thing.
Okay.
So they are fixing it. But,
How do you fuck up Doom?
I agree.
But I mean, I don't really think that's a fuck up. I think that's just some normal ass thing. I don't know.
Is it, though? I mean, Doom 1, does Doom 1 really...
game? It's literally every Ubisoft game, or an EA game. It's literally every EA game.
We could probably download Doom into Dan and play it through his eyes.
Probably.
I'm into the idea.
Oh no!
All of the audio from the game just uses my vocal cords.
Yeah.
You're just screaming screaming in different pitches.
Oh my god! Can we create our own audio pack for Doom with sound effects that we all make?
I've got the equipment.
Yeah, if I can.
Dan sobbing in some of them.
That's just a constant track that plays in the background at 2% volume. You can only hear it sometimes.
When it's really quiet, and then all
No, it's gonna be like the pinky oink oink noise. Where you hear it occasionally and you have no idea where it's coming from. It's gonna be, instead of that oink noise, is gonna be you crying.
Love it. I'm into it.
It's all of the gun sounds can be just Tyler's various shrieks.
But probably more egregious than the Doom stuff is Wolfenstein, Youngblood, and Cyberpilot both came out this week.
I'm not familiar.
Youngblood is, I think you played the kids of Blazkowicz, BJ Blazkowicz.
Oh.
People are disappointed to learn that it is not a single-player game, period. Even if you go in to play it single-player, it auto-match makes you with another player in order to
Really?
play through it. It is a two-player game, period. So it's been getting blasted on the Steam reviews.
Blazkowicz.
And Cyberpilot has been getting blasted on the Steam reviews because it is a 4-hour experience max generic on rails VR shooter.
Ew.
Fantastic.
Boo.
Sounds like a A+ week for Bethesda.
Yeah.
Oh, and then more Doom stuff with the I guess they're saying it's a bug now, but if you had bought the re-releases of Doom previously on like Xbox 360, then you weren't able to re-download the old version. Like,
Well, they got pulled from the store.
They got pulled from the store.
Xbox 360 versions of Doom, of the old Doom games that were released and had backwards compatibility for Xbox One, were removed from the Xbox store when these new re-releases came out.
They did say it was a bug. I think it was that's a bug. We didn't
not
think
allowed
people
to
were going to get
re-download
pissed off, but
fun.
now that we know, we're
Yeah,
going
right.
to fix the bug.
Yeah. So it's been a banner week for Bethesda.
It's been a banner year for Bethesda, let's be
been a-
honest.
Banner life for Bethesda.
Did they put dragons into Doom?
I just want to play a really low res version of Skyrim. That's all I want.
Pretty sure they have smartwatch
I want
capability.
to play Skyrim and Doom on a TI-83. That's been
Yeah,
run
it's
over by a
fun to
car.
dive back into those old Doom games.
I was playing.
Especially Doom 3. Like, it's been a long... I remember when Doom 3 came out, and, like, huge gap between Doom 2 and Doom 3. Huge gap between Doom 3 and the current Doom. And it's just... It's cool to... Because when they were first showing off Doom 3, they were showing it off on, like... They were originally showing it off on top-of-the-line, cutting-edge Mac hardware in order to promote the new Mac G4 line. And it was just, everyone was in awe, and their use of lighting was industry, shaking at the time, and things like that, except you used to only be able to, when it first came out, you could only have the flashlight or your gun out at the same time, not both.
Tell us more about the old days, Grandpa.
So people had to mod it, and they had what they called the duct tape mod that would put the flashlight on your gun, which is what it should have been the whole fucking time. Because
Yeah.
there are sections of that game you literally cannot get through without the flashlight.
I haven't played Doom 3 in forever.
Yeah, me neither.
The one I'm most familiar with is probably the OG, just because I've tried to put it on everything that I...
Yeah, sure.
Because, like, that's like... so, like, when I was futzing about with that Raspberry Pi most recently, the first thing I put on it was Doom, because I had to. It just felt right. Being an LGR fan, he puts Doom or Duke Nukem 3D on everything.
Do you think you could like mod Skyrim so you can play Doom in Skyrim? Like, that'd be some 4D chess.
No, but I'm willing to bet that someone has recreated Doom or some equivalent in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, guaranteed.
Even better, do you guys know about the game Factorio?
Yeah.
Somebody made a functioning game engine in Factorio, and they actually did a walk around on it where you could stretch out the field of view and everything. The only thing you can't do is pan the camera up or down, but you can pretty much play like an old school adventure game walking through a dungeon maze built in this $20 game.
Oh Jesus!
It's
I'm
wild.
kind of about that.
People get ridiculous
People
with
are
that shit.
crazy.
I know.
I love it.
Just having played that game, just the regular progression through it takes forever. So if you're trying to do something extra like that, the amount of hours invested, I don't want to know
Oh,
how
yeah,
long it
people
took
sink
these people to do that.
Thousands upon thousands of hours into making that shit. Like the recreation of Pokemon
Yeah.
Yellow or Red and Blue or whatever in Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yep.
fucking insane.
That was crazy. I don't even know.
Absolutely
I don't even know how you would even begin to go about doing something like that
Yeah.
because I don't play Minecraft.
Yeah.
I do play Pokemon.
And it's with some mods in
Yeah, of
Minecraft.
course.
Like, it's not vanilla Minecraft.
Vanilla with sprinkles?
Because there are these control blocks and things like that. But, like, I watched the creator of that give a tour of the insides, like, all the logic of that to
It's
someone.
weird.
It's
ridiculous.
fucking insane. It's absolutely insane. And like different color tiles represent different things. So they've got, all the maps for all the different screens laid out behind the scenes, and each tile just represents something, like whether it's a random encounter or, whatever, like a chance of encounter or tall grass or what have you. But basically, he has to write an interpreter for all of these maps that he's recreated with simple Minecraft blocks, and it's fucking insane.
That's the type of thing you could present as like for your resume.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Ah.
wild.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I am single-minded enough to spend thousands of hours doing this for
I
Littleton.
will dedicate myself to the most menial tasks for employment.
I no longer have any loved ones. They have since abandoned me.
I am solo in this world.
So I recreated them in Minecraft. They also left.
The simulation was too good.
Simulation terminated. Oh, jeez.
So I finally dove into Mario Maker 2's online multiplayer today.
How'd that go?
I won 2 and lost 1. And I only played a few rounds.
Can you kill other players?
Kinda. I mean, you can screw them over pretty well,
Okay.
but you bounce off their heads. And
Oh,
stuff
okay,
like that.
okay.
You can slam dunk them into a pit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But so I've watched, some people play it online and whatnot, and look pretty fun.
Yeah.
The lag makes it unplayable.
Ooh, I hope they
100% unplayable.
I hope
Thank
they
you,
fix
Nintendo.
So wait,
The lag-
hold on a sec. Are you telling me that Nintendo messed up another thing with online? This is my Pikachu surprised face.
The
Nintendo still has an AOL account. Let's be real.
They still search on use Alta Vista.
each of the rounds that I played ran at such a steadily slower pace that it legitimately changes the physics of the game. So it's not just like stutters or anything like that. It can just completely change the flow of the game. Your speed and everything, like your inertia, it's all fucked.
Doug Bowser's challenge mode.
Yeah, it's a real pain in the ass. I was not very happy with it. If it were running to speed, it would be a lot of fun. It's a great concept, and it should be like some attention. Should be paid to
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
but they need to fucking.
It
figure
could
that out.
work if they, make it work. But
Thank you,
Yeah,
Brooks.
you're right.
and other aphorisms that need not mention.
Yeah.
I know I've complained about this over and over again. I just don't understand. I get that, they're focusing more on the couch co-op idea. But we're in a fucking
But they're not even.
But we live in a society.
In order to play couch co-op, I found out that you could. I thought that you couldn't at all. But in order to play couch co-op on Mario Maker 2, you have to download the game, download the track, and then go to your downloaded levels, and then go to this nebulously illustrated icon that has 4 multicolored blobs on it. Click that, and that's how you play local multiplayer on the Switch for Mario Maker 2.
Really?
Yep. It's not under the multiplayer section of the course menu. It's not. Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Nintendo is the granddad of video game companies.
Really are.
Hey, you kids want to play video? Have you finished your chores yet?
But I mean, like in
Back
general,
in my
though, with the
day,
Switch,
kids were happy
it's
playing
definitely like they've handled every
Mario
other
2.
console where they're just trying to promote people being in the same room and playing. It still has that, and even though this time
Kinda.
for the most part, I would say at least in comparison to other companies, they do not focus on the internet And it doesn't make any sense. We're in this gaming nowadays. That's where we should be going. They should not have this as an afterthought in every single game. The online always sucks. Like, can you point at one single Nintendo game where it's like the online worked great?
The eShop.
Sure, when it comes to taking your money, it'll
Yeah,
work
you know,
fine.
That's really well. They got that part down.
Oh yeah, no problem. Well, and all my downloads on my 3DS are extra fast.
Personally, I thought that the Miiverse posts were actually really
Miiverse
great.
was cool.
Like, but then they totally got rid of those.
Yes.
Because they're like, you people are all too big assholes for us to allow you to have this.
They hit the penis limit.
I was never a big fan of the Miis in the first place because part
Well,
of
never
the,
mind the Mii's. You know, the Miiverse stuff was the posts that you could draw on the Wii U and share with other people. So, like, on Mario Maker 1, you could do, like, a full, draw thing, and then when other people cleared that level, it would scroll through all the drawings that people had made and, things like that. Dicks are pretty quick to get shot down. But in general, like it was fun. And they had it in Splatoon as well, and then they just killed Miiverse.
I guess Splatoon would be one where the internet worked okay.
Yeah, Splatoon. Yeah,
Splatoon worked
That's
fine.
an interesting idea for sure.
How could you not like Mies, Brooks? You can make some punished abominations. That alone makes it the perfect system.
I mean, maybe it's because I spent too much time with Brent playing Def Jam Icon, making our own fighters, that when I'm presented with a stick figure I can stick faces on, it's like not, they will never be
not
as
satisfying.
cool as Biff Tannen or Javon Nutsack.
Of course.
Because we made some atrocious characters. And also, I mean, like, I play video games because I don't want to be me.
That's why you don't make yourself.
I can't
You make a punished abomination.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Dad.
Get with the times.
And you can get creative with all those things. You can rotate them in ways that they're not.
Well,
meant
I think that we can
make them
agree to
sizes
never
that
be
they're not
creative
meant to be.
again.
Still made me laugh that they banned Hitler Mii's. I know that they should, but they did.
Oh, I forgot. Speaking of Hitler,
It's funny because I have a speaking of Hitler as well.
Taika Waititi's new movie.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jojo
I
Rabbit.
can't wait. I cannot wait. The only man who will make me laugh with Hitler.
Yeah, as Hitler.
As Hitler.
Taika Waititi plays Hitler.
Wait,
in
what?
And I think he wrote it, but I'm not sure. He directed it. It's called Jojo Rabbit, and it's I don't even know when it's coming out. Has Sam Rockwell, Scarlett Johansson, and Taika Waititi in it, and Taika Waititi plays Hitler.
Set during World War II, an awkward young German boy whose only ally is his imaginary friend Hitler has his naive patriotism tested when he meets a young girl who upends his worldviews. This
Yep.
sounds brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taika Waititi plays an imaginary friend Hitler.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, we'll have to watch the teaser for it.
Yeah. It
Later.
looks great. It looks
like
absolutely great.
looks like a silly, well thought out film that will probably make me cry at some point because The Hunt for the Wilder People did the same thing.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm relieved that our On the Topic of Hitler was
Yeah.
the same thing.
Well, we already talked about Wolfenstein.
I suppose, yeah. I started watching Amazon's new series, The Boys.
I did too.
And
The
it
Boys?
is
For the boys?
phenomenal.
It is fantastic.
It's based on a Garth Ennis book called The Boys. And Garth Ennis also did Preacher and a number of other notable graphic novels. And if you're familiar with Preacher, you should have a sense of the tone of The Boys. Dark, comedic, but dark.
Yep.
And that
It's
first-
Well, it's fucked up superheroes, right?
yeah, it's fucked up superheroes. It's a world where superheroes are part of a corporate entity. They're all
Mystery
kind of
Man.
loaned out to cities for a price, and all managed by this corporate entity. And then their top 7 are called the 7, and
And they do not.
they're
Is this
Here
a
to-
One Punch Man knockoff?
They do not adhere to truth, justice, and the
Two-Punch
American
Man?
way.
they're
Punchman?
they're led by a guy whose cape is the American flag, and he's named Homelander. And his pauldrons are eagle heads.
Does he chug beers and run people over with a pickup truck?
No, he is perfect in every way.
Of course he is.
Except
But no,
debilitating drug problem.
no, seriously, this is a world where every single superhero in it, while on the face of it is sold, there's branding and all this. Basically, superheroes become corporate America in this dystopia. And
I kinda like that.
The superheroes are all actually the biggest pieces of shit on the fucking planet.
Wow, shocker. That's probably what would actually happen if
It
people
is,
had
exactly.
superpowers.
That's what I kind of love about it.
And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I was a superhero, I'd probably turn into a pompous asshole myself.
the main character is named Huey, and it's played by
Last
a
name
dude
not
named
Lewis.
Jack Quaid. And Jack Quaid is the son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid,
Dennis Quaid
but looks like Michael Shannon.
He looks exactly like Michael Shannon.
looks
That's the whole
like
thing. I was
Michael
like,
Shannon,
oh my
but
God,
is
Michael
like
Shannon.
son of Dennis Quaid. My favorite.
The first 10 minutes of episode 1, I was like, where that
In
happens.
fact, I will make them watch the first 10 minutes of the first episode. Before you guys leave today, we have to watch the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and you will be sold.
I was not prepared.
Nor was I. Nor was
I
I.
want to see the son of Dennis Quaid and the son of Randy Quaid have like a fight, like a televised fight. I want to
Does
see
Randy
it go down.
Quaid have any kids?
Probably.
You're just
Somewhere.
guessing.
I don't know. He's crazy.
Yeah, I know he's crazy.
He probably has a bunch of kids.
I mean, maybe.
Or he.
Crazy people don't have a bunch of kids. Dumb people have a bunch of kids.
A fight between theoretical children.
No. Rather this. Dennis Quaid's, Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son versus the homunculoid that that Randy Quaid creates
But plus-
using stolen Area 51 technology.
If you think about it, Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid are brothers.
I know.
Jack Quaid's if Randy Quaid has a son or has a child, then Jack Quaid has already fought him. Most likely, who hasn't fought with their cousins?
Televised.
Really?
I'm not an animal.
Even when you're a little kid, like you don't like end up in little spats with your cousins?
Nope, the only
No.
person I ever fought was my brother. I never fought anybody else.
Really?
Never.
My cousins weren't around
I
enough
got in
to
plenty
annoy
of
me.
fights, but those were at school. So
Actually, all of my cousins are 6 to 7 years younger than I am, so I wasn't an asshole.
All the easier to stomp them. It's probably your only
Yeah,
opportunities, Tyler.
I did that
Actually,
with my
my
brother. There was one morning where he was being a fucking little shit. He was just mouthing off and like, I'm trying to get us ready because we're supposed to be getting ready because we're getting picked up to go to school. It's just him and I, and he's just mouthing off. And my dad, because he's this behavior doesn't develop instantaneously. My dad's just like, you better watch it. Like, your brother has a lot of patience, but one of these days he's gonna beat you up, and I'm not gonna do anything about it. Sure enough, the moment happened, and I grabbed him and I threw him down on the floor, and I just punched him out. And he's like 6 years younger than I am, so it was the only time I could.
Your dad walks into the room, unfolds a folding chair, and cracks a beer and sits back.
No, he wasn't
This
even
is
home.
why I became a
he wasn't even
father.
home. And I slapped him. I slapped my brother around and gave him what for. And then I got in trouble at school because I beat my brother up. And
Wait, were you at school when this happened?
no,
Well, they probably saw that he was hurt and said, "What happened?" And said, "My brother beat me up."
yeah.
Then that's not a school problem. It didn't
That's a
happen
home
on
problem.
school
No,
property.
and my dad took care of the problem, and no one was in trouble at school. It's just like, it's just discipline.
Sounds somewhat foreboding. My dad
Now I couldn't
took care of the problem.
Now
We have a new
couldn't,
teacher.
He walked into the principal's office with his shotgun. Life was never the same.
nowadays I could not even come close to kicking my brother's ass because he lifts 500-pound people into trucks for a living. So.
Oh. Fair enough.
Bare hands.
What does he do?
He does. Sorry, that was ambiguous. He's a corpse grinder. No,
I'm like, did
he,
you? It took my brain is like, wait, 500-pound people.
he does medical transport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I never did anything. I was a nice older sibling.
I was
really
only
nice.
child, so
I
I took all of my anger and rage out on classmates.
Despite all your rage, were you still just Orion in a cage?
I still today take all of my rage out on myself. That was a habit I developed from childhood.
We can get you a licensed bot bag with your face on it.
Ever since like grade school, I got into many fights, like many fights, always with people bigger than me who picked on me, because I was never one to take being picked on. So either I was very good at avoiding fights, or I was very good at, standing up for myself. Like when I was in 8th grade, once I had drawn a spider, web pattern on my hand, like between my fingers and stuff like that. And
As junior high schoolers tend to do.
Some, bully, like I'm waiting after school and some bully at the school like walks by, is like, "What the fuck's on your hand?" I was like, I just look up at him slowly. I go, "I'm Spider-Man." And I can't even remember what he said, but it was like vaguely hostile. And I was like, my Spidey senses hostility. And he just ended up walking away. But when you react, in a weird way to people, I learned, around middle school that they just walk away.
Yeah, you can just confuse them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah,
I
they
got
hurt
into-
themselves in the confusion.
I got in one fight in junior
your
high
mom got
school.
scared?
The only and I went to live with my auntie and uncle and brother. No, I got in one fight in junior high. I got
my
super
God.
pissed off at this kid. Like I got bullied a lot until around 8th grade. Then I actually stopped being
And
4 foot tall.
Still
and-
today, he gets bullied by us.
Yeah, but no one else can bully him.
No!
We'll kick their ass.
But so I got into there was this kid John Thatcher. He was bullying me, and I was like, I'm not going to take it anymore. So
That
I
makes
pushed
sense
him.
if he's part of the Thatcher family. Margaret Thatcher was a piece of shit.
I know. I
The
mean,
Iron
honestly.
Mom.
But so I pushed him, and the stereotypical everyone gathered around. Oh, fight! Like stereotypical schoolyard brawl.
Sure.
And I punched him, and I knocked his glasses off, and I was so proud of
You
myself. 'cause
punched
it's the
somebody with glasses?
Yes.
You monster.
I was so proud of myself because it was the first time I'd ever thrown a punch. So I stepped back like, yeah, and I stepped into a hole and twisted my ankle and fell down and had a sprained ankle, and that was the end of the fight.
Lovely.
That sounds
like
like
to
a very
say-
Tyler thing.
I'd like to say that I won that fight because he did not touch me. I just fell down, started crying.
Unless he's an
and sprained my
maybe he's an
ankle.
earthbender and he made the earth swallow your leg. I got in a few fights in school myself. Middle school, I went to. So when I moved here when I was in the 6th grade, and so I went from being at the top of the food chain in the 6th grade at an elementary school in Oregon to being bottom rung of the ladder in the middle of a school year in middle school, and I hated it. So the next year, my parents were like, "We're not going to send you to a public school. We're going to do the charter school route because that's real big out here. Charter schools,
Yeah.
So I got sent to. In theory, it was sounded like a fantastic school. It was an agricultural school. They had like I could work with livestock and take care of horses and learn karate and learn how to use a bow.
We've heard about the burying of the ostrich.
Sorry, the emu.
Emu,
My mistake. So I ended up being the last chance before going to juvie for a lot of people. So there were a lot of bully type folks, but my first year I had a hard time because I just didn't know. I was also a little fucking narc. If you're listening, no one likes a narc, so
Fuck narcs.
but
Snitches get stitches.
but the next year I had made friends with all of my bullies and tormentors because I learned how to be cool. And so the following year I had a protective ring of bigger bullies coming after the newer ones that were coming in the next year. It was fantastic.
I'm just imagining Brooks wearing like a white suit. There's these big.
Brooks is
I
crying.
wasn't Little Gideon. I'm not Little Gideon.
No, but I know what your Halloween costume needs to be now.
Yeah.
With the big white pompadour.
Yeah.
Well,
Dan, how was your school experience?
I did not go to school.
I was created.
I hibernated on the astral plane until I was of age.
As is tradition in my family.
That was fine. I mean, I hated school. I hated every second of it. I wish there were other opportunities to learn cool stuff.
Was your favorite subject lunch?
No,
It was mine for a while.
it was art. But
Hey, art's fucking rad.
I don't know. I never really had any like bullying problems because I didn't care. Yeah, they would verbally abuse me and just go, "All right, cool. See you later."
It's probably because you had a beard when you were 12.
I don't know. Like they
Just woke up one day and looked like he was in hypersleep for 40 years. I think I hit puberty, Mom.
I definitely had all the opportunities to have to have school bullies and fights and didn't want to, so I didn't. I hung out with a fat Asian dude who liked to sleep on the bench at recess, so like I never really
We weren't friends in school.
I never really got into conflict with anybody because nobody wanted to walk up to the dude napping on a bench.
Dan, I hate to break it to you. I don't think he actually knew you were there.
Hung out with.
you like run into him on the street in like 5 years. And you're like, oh my god, so and so. How have you been? Who are you?
Who the fuck are you?
I've never seen you before in my life. Well, you were asleep for most of our friendship, but I won't hold that against you.
Yeah, man, I got into a lot of spats. I had anger issues growing up, like a lot of anger issues growing up, and now it's just not there anymore.
Now we take it all out on Tyler.
Yep.
The topless robot whipping boy.
I'm basically the heat sink for a computer, but you pour your anger and
So do you help us run
anger and
faster?
frustration into me.
He does, yeah. We vent through him
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
so that we can run cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The cooler side of the pillow.
Well, I'm the ball of lint inside the trackball mouse. It gets us derailed
Bowl of
sometimes.
lint in the track. You're not wrong. That's actually quite accurate. Quite accurate.
Click, click, motherfucker.
So, I did end up buying Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Okay.
I kind of want to play it.
Is
Looks
it
like
pretty much the same
Marvel
as the
Ultimate
first
Alliance
two?
2.
Basically, just a lot more characters. I figured that I should probably pick it up because it's a Switch exclusive, and there are not a lot of those, especially not third party. I think this is the only third party Switch exclusive that I can think of. Third
think-
party?
I'm pretty sure they haven't done.
It could be. I don't know.
They haven't put out anything under the same folks, have they? In a while. Like when did Ultimate Alliance 2 come out?
Oh, a long time ago.
It was like what, 10 years ago? If more than that,
Yeah,
15.
Probably more
80?
than that.
Xenoblade.
Maybe 10.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh, yeah. But it's fun. I feel like it's hard to strategize.
That's
They
part of the
call
reason.
for strategy a lot.
Yeah.
But the way that gameplay works doesn't facilitate strategy.
It's like running around with a bunch of your friends and trying to tell them what to do while they're in the middle of a fist fight.
Or even worse, running around with 3 CPU characters and not being able to be like, all right, let's do a joint combo thing.
We're just gonna beat the shit out of some stuff and run around in circles.
Every once in a while, there's a little line that goes to your main character, and your Joy-Con vibrates a little bit to indicate that you can press A to take part in, this special move that they're about to do. But that's it, and that doesn't happen frequently.
Is it at least multiplayer?
Yeah, it's multiplayer from
Okay.
my understanding. I've not tried, but yeah. Actually, yeah, because I remember them showing it off at Treehouse multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
I like the characters that they have, and you get different bonuses depending on your combination of characters. So there's like, if you pick 4 Avengers, then that boosts a specific stat for all of your characters. If 2 of them happen to be women, then you also get a boost for, women. You that boosts a different stat. If you have, like, for example, Hulk and Spider-Man and Iron Man, you get brain boost, the brainy character boosts, and
Big
so
brain.
all these different kind of combinations of characters that you can have in your group that have impact to your stats.
I remember my only experience really with these games is just the X-Men version, the X-Men Legends.
Yeah.
And they had some interesting stat boost things for kind of similar stuff. But they also had, I don't know if this one does or not, but because they had so many costumes you can unlock, if everyone in your party was wearing the same same costume theme, then you get a bonus to
Sure.
X, Y, or Z. Like, I unlocked all the Age of Apocalypse costumes because I am that nerd, and I got some pretty massive boosts to attack, and it was great. I don't know. I just I haven't played a Marvel video game in such a long time.
The last one I played was Lego Marvel.
Well, if it says Lego on it, it's probably gonna be fun.
Yeah, the Lego Marvel games were great. I fucking love those.
I love how that's so consistent. The Lego games just are good.
Yeah, they're good.
They're just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna giggle because they're gonna.
But at
do
the same
something
time,
dumb.
you don't go into it expecting a lot, and they deliver,
Yeah.
more than you expect, which is not much.
And then we get things like the Lego Yoda death sound.
I forgot.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've lost Brooks for a little bit. As this sound plays on loop in his brain for a little bit.
I knew I shouldn't have filled my brain with ceramic.
But yeah, it's a really, it's very pretty. It's fun for what it is. They really, and the setup is the Infinity Stones. Like, it's Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
So,
I wonder if they're going with the movie.
they're going with the books. They're going with, yeah.
Yes.
They're already clearly going with the books because Quill has been able to, like, just hold on to one of the Infinity Stones like it's nothing. So, and use it like it's nothing. So,
Wonderful.
Very nice.
but yeah, it because of the amount that they're squeezing into the game, it feels like a constant barrage of cameos.
Oh, just like someone showing up and be like, "Who's that?" Hang on, pause. Wikipedia. Oh, that's Machine Man. What the fuck are you doing
they basically
here?
introduce all the. So you start out as the Guardians of the Galaxy, and you run into what's Thanos' crew, the Black.
Mages?
Nope.
Brooks, that you had to hesitate at all. Who are you?
I am more of an. As I turn my X's towards you. I am. When it comes to the Marvel Universe, my strengths lie in X-Men mostly.
But anyway, it's you
Black
end up
Guard.
encountering Thanos' cronies on this ship that you found abandoned in the middle of a rock in space that you thought might have treasure on it. And so you go and you're investigating as Guardians of the Galaxy. You find all 6 stones, and you end up trying to keep them out of their hands. And so Quill grabs one, and then you wake up on the raft. And you're fighting your way through the raft, and all of a sudden it's all Spider-Man villains. So you fight Sandman, you fight the Shocky Boy, Electro.
Sandman, Electro.
One
you
shocky
fight-
boy.
Actually, you fight Venom and Electro at the same time.
Ooh.
And then Venom comes to your team.
Dear God, please help me kill Spider-Man.
And then you fight the Green Goblin, and then next, from there you go to like Devil's Kitchen, stuff.
Oh,
like,
you get some Daredevil action?
Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and The Hand and shit like that. So it's clear that it's just kind of like, hey, we're just going to run through. All right, here's one property's villains and what bridge as well. Okay, it's the Daredevil stuff and the Jessica Jones and the Defenders stuff. We'll just bridge right into that. And, it goes that way.
Can you dab on people as Luke Cage?
No, please. No.
I wish.
Please, no.
It's so
Please,
awkward.
no.
But, it's a pretty fun game. But like I said, like they call for strategy when it's almost impossible to achieve.
Yeah.
It's just a brawler. Like it's just a next iteration of like a dungeon, a Double Dragon kind of thing. Or
That was kind of my impression the first time around. Was this is advanced dungeon or Doubles and Dragons?
Doubles and Dragons.
Advanced Doubles and Dragons.
AD&D.
Speaking of the Switch, by the way,
Yeah.
have you had any trouble with the Joy-Con drift issue?
Yes, I have already
Have
replaced
you?
a set of
You've already
Joy-Con.
had to
I've already
replace it?
replaced 2 sets of Joy-Cons.
Really?
Though
still-
one on my Switch and one on Jasmine's Switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Did you get them for free? Get them replaced for free?
No.
Because
I just went and bought new ones because I took the one apart to try and fix it myself.
Did you see that Nintendo is now offering free replacements? So you can probably get a refund now. You could if you write in.
Not necessarily.
No.
Because I took my Joy-Con apart to try and fix
Well,
it.
if you delete
Violated
this
the
part on the
warranty.
podcast, they won't know.
No, that Joy-Con is still in pieces because those things are fiddly, finicky little fuckers. Yeah. And
Well-
I wouldn't have been able to anyway because I had already replaced the shells for those Joy-Cons.
Oh, okay. So
That's right. That was
well,
the purple.
Yep. So, but we could with Jasmine's, and we're probably going to. But yeah, the drift is real. It's not a subtle thing at all.
Really? Okay.
I've
not had an
seen
issue yet.
joystick drift before, and usually a recalibrate gets things sorted or whatever. Like back in the day, it used to be just like, oh, whoops, I was leaning on the controller when I started up the system, and now it thinks up left is
Yeah,
zero.
you have to like flick it.
And
you know.
so because most of those systems calibrated the positions of the joysticks when you power down the systems.
Yeah.
And with this, it is really, really bad.
Really?
Yeah, rendering a lot of games downright unplayable.
Nintendo, get on your shit. You normally are pretty good. That's the one thing I've loved about the Switch so far. It's felt like a solid system, but it seems like, yeah, there's some weird issues with that, with the drifting, the warping of the console that people are getting, and the...
No hardware will ever be as resilient as the GameCube. It's impossible.
No, the GameCube is the ultimate game console to destroy, completely break someone's skull.
Tell that
and
to,
still work.
to the Panasonic Q.
Oof. Well, that's
I don't know what that is.
that's a
So-
fancy specialty one. Okay.
Panasonic was allowed to make a GameCube because Nintendo partnered with Panasonic for parts of the GameCube. And so Panasonic was allowed to make their own GameCube, which actually had a proper DVD player. It had an LCD display up front.
It looks
and
pretty good.
It looks rad.
Just doesn't work.
And it's got like metal sides. Like at first glance, you would be able to recognize it as a GameCube. But
It's got that
It's like
2000s look
it's
to
like
it.
a Pimp My Ride GameCube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Does it play
Q-Zone.
GameCube games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It plays
Okay.
GameCube
Yeah.
games. It has that metallic, early 2000s look at this cool future thing.
Yep.
Kind of deal. I think that the primary issues with it were beyond scarcity, of course. Were I think the belt. I think maybe the
belt
belt
was
keeps breaking.
was a common point of failure. I think there were some power supply board issues as well.
Also, people that bought them were having issues with hypothermia because of how cool they were.
Both sides of the pillow they slept
I-
on were the cool side of the pillow.
I honestly, I always really wanted a Q. As a collector now,
Yeah.
working or not, it
Ever
will
since
be
I-
my goal to own a Q.
Ever since I become aware of one, for sure, I've won one. There's a bunch of weird little consoles that were well, you helped us make parts, so I guess you're allowed to make one of these.
Yeah.
Like,
Never have heard of it.
Really?
Like, and I played the hell out of GameCube, so I feel like at one point I should have. Probably should have heard of this. I don't know how I missed this.
the Q-Zone was. I've only seen one in person.
I've never seen one in person.
I've seen one in person, and I don't remember where it was. Actually, it might have been a Game Zone.
But yeah, I just know that they were made in very short supply. They were $400 when they came out.
I think
$400 or $600
as opposed to $100.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
This thing was-
GameCube rules. Super
Whoa.
Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz.
Super Monkey Ball is the jam.
Yeah.
That looks like it looks like something that would have been used in like a sci-fi prop as like a futuristic. Like this is what technology
Yeah,
will
right,
look like in
right.
30
It
years.
looks fucking stupid.
It looks like an old school Battlestar Galactica Cylon head.
Yeah. But it's cool.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
It'll go great with all of your iHome accessories.
And it was great because it brought DVD playback capabilities to the GameCube, which at the time it was the only system that didn't.
Which I mean, I did not own a GameCube growing up, but I mean they were everywhere, so I played enough GameCube. You know,
Sure.
Youth group thing. Yeah, we're doing Mario Kart Double Dash. Hanging out at Brent's house. He got this peripheral that was the tiniest fucking screen that folded over on top like
Yep.
perfectly. We used to sit in his room like on a sleepover and play like Sonic Heroes on that shit like all night.
I'm so sorry.
I fondly remember just like bleary eyed. You know, you're like staring at this like little screen and just yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of really good games on the GameCube. Some
GameCube.
that I really want us to
Mega
do.
Man X Command Mission.
On a screen so small, it must have been hard to tell how shitty that game was.
You know, Sonic Heroes is a great game.
I enjoyed Sonic Heroes.
The soundtrack rules.
Specifically, and I think I may have brought this up on the podcast before, I want us to play Pac-Man Versus.
I'd be down.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Pac-Man Versus came out originally on the GameCube because it took advantage of the GameCube or the Game Boy Link. For the
right,
GameCube, where you
right.
could plug in a Game Boy Advance into one of the controllers.
Well, I have a GameCube.
And well, they have since re-released it as Namco Museum, like in Namco Museum for the
okay.
Nintendo Switch. So the way that the game works is 3 players are ghosts, and they see a limited area around them on the TV, and so it's 3 circles on the screen. So you have to communicate. I am, over here, and Pac-Man just went by me, or whatever. The person who's playing as Pac-Man plays on the Game Boy screen with the traditional top-down Pac-Man full board view. And so they have since re-released this game as a part of Namco Museum on the Nintendo Switch. So you can play it with 2 Nintendo Switches. You have one Switch that is docked, that your ghosts are playing on, and then another Switch that has the traditional Pac-Man view.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
So
about
that-
it. I'm about it.
I want to play that.
Yeah.
Now I'm like thinking about all
Snitches
my
get
GameCube
switches.
games that I want to go back and play. Custom Robo. Did you ever play Custom Robo?
Oh man, I forgot about that game.
Fucking loved Custom Robo.
I never played Custom
It was a little mech fighting game that you switched out parts, and it was
Yeah, it was like a really simplified like Gundam builder.
and it was a blast. It was a blast and a half. I fucking loved that game. I don't know why that popped into my head just now, but I'm like, I want to go back and play that.
I remember being really surprised when they decided to re-release, do the remaster of Resident Evil and the release of Resident Evil 0 as GameCube exclusives.
Yeah.
That really surprised me because the GameCube, I mean, Nintendo's never been the strongest, hardware-wise in the game.
No.
The GameCube was no exception to that.
Yeah.
GameCube
So
was my
I feel
favorite
like
one.
that remaster would have been better served on the PlayStation 2. But
Well, I mean, and they did eventually port it.
yeah, eventually.
They eventually ported it. I have it on the PS3. I owned it on the. I played it on the Wii because I was like, oh, Resident Evil game, cool. I never actually got to play this. That was a selling point for me for getting a Wii, was that it played GameCube games. So
Sure.
I already had games that I could buy that weren't necessarily Wii games. I remember being very, very sick playing through the first Resident Evil game. So I don't remember a whole lot of it because I was hallucinating a lot.
Which
But,
must have only made that game
oh,
better.
dude, it was just like, the door, no! Oh, man. But-
Considering we've watched you play horror games and that's not how you react
No.
in general,
Yeah.
I imagine that must have been...
I'm a stone cold killer. But my if I had to pick one GameCube game to rep, it would be Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. That the remake.
I remember hearing
the
that
remake.
is really good.
It is the only thing I don't like about it is the voice acting. They changed it. It's better, but there's something about that the
shitty voice acting.
shitty voice acting for Metal Gear Solid. that's
Shitty
just
voice
like-
acting is great.
it's
What
just
is a
like-
man?
It is the basis of all combat. Oh man. Yeah. How do we get talking about Q-Zone? GameCube Q-Zone. How do we get to Q-Zone?
I don't
We were
remember.
talking about Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Kind of turned into that Pac-Man version.
Oh, you're trying to
I mean,
actually
good luck
backtrack.
trying to trace the
Yeah.
train back.
I'm
I
usually
don't-
pretty good at this. I just haven't eaten yet today. So,
Speaking of trains, I don't remember if I
Drops of Jupiter?
brought this up last week or not, because I don't remember a lot about last week's podcast.
we said stuff.
There was a little one-off animated video that Cartoon Network produced called Infinity Train. Did I mention that at all?
Yeah.
And that is actually seeing a release next month, like August 5th, I think.
I remember you.
It just looks so fucking
I remember
great.
you talking about it. I don't remember if you talked about it on the pod.
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean-
you didn't talk about it last week.
The concept is great, and it's just like each train car is something different, and you're stuck on this train. And so it's this girl and a robot that are like navigating through this train. And she, like, in the little, short animation that they did, like the preview, she opens a door into another, train car, and it is like a corgi universe, and it's a corgi kingdom, and she has to help, the corgis and stuff. And it's just this infinite train. It's so fucking cool that is just like an adventure. It makes me think of the episode of Adventure Time where there was that train that was like just going in a loop, and Finn, while like I think it was shortly after his breakup with Flame Princess, is just beating shit and leveling up and beating shit and leveling up and doing all the same shit over, because it's just this infinity adventure train, and it like took his mind off of stuff. But it's like that same sort of idea, but an infinite number of possibilities and
An infinite number of universes where Dan might be able to smile.
That sounds off the rails.
So, and there will be a universe in which Dan did not suffer that industrial accident as a child, severing
why are you
the
shielding?
muscles in his face. Oh man!
But yeah, I am extremely excited for that. It's going to be
It's getting a remaster and it's coming out next month, the 5th.
No, it's getting a series, a proper series.
Oh,
Noise.
Yeah.
oh! Hey, it's a Jack. What's going on?
Speaking of not corgis, Jack. Oh, Jack, go on.
Yeah, I saw it.
Little red rocket going on there.
We gotta
Cool.
pixelate that out.
Yeah,
All
right. That's weird. I've never seen him do that before.
Maybe it's my cologne.
Jesus Christ.
Sight of Brooks.
Maybe he's born with it.
Maybe it's Brooks.
Maybe it's bestiality.
That's how far this podcast has fallen.
Yeah.
Bestiality jokes.
How do we get from GameCube to bestiality?
All right, Leno, let's follow this shit.
Okay.
Let's go down. Let's go down this rabbit hole.
I could. I mean, if we're talking about bestiality, I could just bring up the Cats trailer again.
Can we not?
I know we talked about it last week, but
There
it's
was a
still,
blissful moment
the memes
that I
are
forgot
great.
about that.
The memes are great.
The memes are pretty good about that. Specifically, I want the Nick Offerman, Nick Offerman cats.
I feel like they might actually do it.
That would be
Not like a
Great.
full, but just like a bit. Just like
Yeah,
a little bit.
right.
Just because Nick Offerman is America's coolest theater guy.
Nick Offerman's the best.
so. I can't help but notice that Fire Emblem has been out for 2 days now.
And we haven't heard some screaming on the wind.
Dan hasn't screamed yet.
I'm very busy on the weekends. Yeah,
So when-
it came out on a Friday, so I'm not going to get around to playing it until I have some more time off.
It's fair. That's fair.
But I don't know. I've heard only good things so far, but people have different expectations than I do, so we'll see what happens.
You've got
Everything that I have-
the deep nerd expectations, the OG fan expectations.
I do.
Everything
Yeah,
I
it's
have
kind of
read
like that.
and-
Whatever that Mega Man mobile game that you sent us.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's not going to be good.
yeah. It's just like a Maverick boss rush thing. or
It's
something.
extreme. That's all. It's just
Yeah, Mega Man Extreme.
That's all it is.
And Mega Man Extreme had the charm of being a Game Boy game, so I could forgive it for being a little shorter. But you know,
It's interesting with all the fan backlash that happens every time a new mobile game gets created. It feels like we're seeing more and more and more adaptations.
Mobile
because-
games have no soul.
And we touched on this when
there's no heart in mobile games.
Blizzard talked about Diablo Mobile. They don't care what the fans think because their
They're
goal in making a mobile game is not to reach the fan market.
to attract new people.
It's to attract new people to an IP that are not otherwise gamers.
Which I mean, like I kind of am excited to see if this Mega Man mobile game gets big because then all these new fans are going to be like, "Oh, man, this is great,"
And then play
And then they're
it.
going to pick up.
Like
X7.
Battle Network or something.
Yeah, they're going to play Battle Network. They're going to play another
EX.
bad
Or they're
one.
just not going
Yeah.
to expand beyond that specific game.
I mean, Mega Man.
Or they're going to watch that fucking Mega Man TV show.
Oh,
Speaking of which, we gotta make some time for Tyler. Make some time for.
gotta
Tyler.
flex on Tyler.
Gotta flex 5 on Tyler.
Yeah.
Hey, Fleck is in my name.
Nope.
Is the podcast over?
Not acknowledging that. Not acknowledging that.
Yeah, I deserve this one too. I'll take it to the face.
Take it to the street.
You missed. Ah, my eye!
Take
Cool. All right.
So, but yeah, it's to the, point of the mobile games. Like, we're used to all these games being
Yeah.
marketed to us. And so it feels weird when they announce games like this. I think part of the disconnect is that they're announcing these games to the fans.
Yeah.
And so but it's clear that they're not, like, their target demographic is not the fans.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be.
It's because they want us to screech about it and market it to all the people in our circles.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, because we're
No
gonna
such thing as bad press.
We're gonna complain about it. If it's lucky, it'll hit meme status for like a brief minute, and then you have all those people that don't play Mega Man, for example, but want to be in on the joke.
Sure.
So they're gonna get it.
God, can you imagine once that Sonic the Hedgehog movie finally comes out, it's going to outsell Endgame.
It's
No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not.
No. I think it'll seriously compete for sure.
No.
It'll definitely blow out Titanic.
Everyone is going to, because of how ludicrous it looked, everyone is going to have to go and see this monstrosity.
Everyone's gonna see it, but it's gonna be one of those things where one weekend it'll, like, for some reason be the #1 movie that weekend, and then
they
it'll
will
stop.
ride that advertising
That'll be it.
until the grave.
That'll
Yeah.
be the end of that movie. There'll be 2 weekends.
#1
max
movie in
that
America.
that they'll have
Kids
a lot of
love.
people see.
#1 movie in America.
Kids love
Critics
Sonic.
say ... It's ...
Fun.
A movie.
It's a movie.
This ... movie is ...
Entertainment
a
product.
piece ... of fun.
FU ... N.
This movie is like watching a train pull into the station.
Yeah. And which also it got pushed back further.
I saw.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
It is. There's no way that they can make it good. The trailer
We're
is
gonna
bad.
see it in that $5 DVD bin that we all look at in Walmart when it's 1 o'clock in the morning and we're going to pick up toilet paper.
I have my toilet paper brought to me.
Well, how deluxe.
I don't leave the house unless I absolutely have to. On that note, that's the end of the podcast.
We're gonna end this on the fact that you get your toilet paper delivered to you. Is that really how we're gonna end this episode?
No, apparently now we're going to end it on you whinging about it.
Good.
On that note,
I choose to accept that is an adult thing to take advantage of the future.
yeah.
Tyler.
In my ear. I'm moist.
So is that the name of the episode now? I'm moist.
I'm pretty sure we've already had a title about me making Tyler wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it literally Ryan makes Tyler wet?
Yeah.
Goodbye,
After all
everybody.
this-
Thanks for watching
changed.
and or listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.
Every day, thousands of animals die. Only by subscribing to Topless Robot can you stop it. Me and my partner Brooks here have decided that we're taking a stand. Subscribe.